Hi everyone, welcome to Jen's Story. Today let's have a chat about the accents, shall we? Ever had a liking for a particular English accent? Some people really dig the American accent while others go crazy over the British one. And mind you, there is a whole bunch of different accents in English like Scottish, Irish, Canadian, Aussie, and so on. In my personal opinion, accents are not the be all and end all when you are just starting out with learning English or any languages for that matter, unless you really want to have one. So don't worry too much about sounding a certain way. Learning a language is all about connecting with people who speak the same lingo, and you don't really need a specific accent for that. Americans get what Brits are saying, and vice versa. It's all good. But if you are really into a particular accent and you want to nail it, I think that's absolutely cool too. Personally, I've got a soft spot for the British accent. There's just something about it that clicks. But remember, that's just my own preference and everyone's got their own tastes. So if you are keen on picking up a specific accent for your English, just stick around and watch this video till the end. First things first, before we dive in, let me stress that we are not aiming for some perfect American or British accents here. Let's be real. Sounding exactly like a native speaker, especially if you started your language learning journey after the ripe age of 20 like me, is a bit of a stretch. And really, what's the perfect accent anyway? Based on my own experience, I learned English with American accent till my 20, and then I started speaking English while I was in France as an exchange student. And then I made my way to Australia around 9 years ago. So yes, my accents become a bit of mix. But you know what? Who really minds seriously? As long as we can express ourselves, that's what matters. So don't let it stress you out. Then, why are we talking about accents today? Trying out a particular accent can actually make our language learning journey more enjoyable, adding some fun into the mix. We're just trying to talk in a way that we like or enjoy hearing, so there is no need to get over concerned. And just to be clear, even I'm focusing only on English accents today, what I'm going to share applies to any other languages as well. Now, here's what I think. One of the most effective ways to pick up a particular English accent is to find someone who's got the accent that you want to have and consume a bunch of their content. It's what they call modeling. So you pick your role model and listen closely to what they're saying, and then give it a shot yourself over and over again. Mais attention, if you choose actor or actress, they might switch up the accents in their TV shows or movies. Take Millie Bobby Brown from Stranger Things or Tom Holland from Spider-Man. They've got a strong British accent in real life but use American English on screen. Even in a series that I really like, The Society, with all those Britishes and Aussies, they're all talking like Americans. And that makes sense, In the show, kids growing up in the same town are not going to have widely different accents from each other. So when you are choosing content, just to make sure that that's the accent that you want to learn. Also, when you are working on a certain accent, it's a real help if you can learn from the contrast. Let's take the word interview as an example. Give it a listen in both American and British styles. Just search on YouTube, there will be a bunch of videos for it. Americans tend to say interview, if I just did it right, while the Brits goes for interview. If you catch the difference, it makes it heaps easier to soak in the accent you fancy, because comparing the two really highlights the accent. Another case in point, the word internet. In American English, it's like internet, but in British accent, it's more like internet. Did you see the difference? Last but not least, practice out loud. I understand it might feel a bit awkward speaking English on your own in your room, but trust me, you've got to give it a go, especially when you're working on nailing the pronunciation for a certain accent. When I was young, I think I was in my early teens, I remember going to an English academy in Korea, and not much from the time sticks in my memory except for two things. Firstly, we used to have these quizzes, and when we got the answers right, the teacher used to hand out these like a minty chewing gums all the way from Canada, and it was quite incentive for us kids back then. And the other thing is that the teacher assigned us homework to record ourselves reading aloud the passage from the textbook onto cassette tapes. And at the beginning of the next class, we'd all listen to everyone's recording together, and the teacher would give us feedback. Thinking back to that experience, that was actually a really good practice. I'd listen to the recordings of native speakers talking, and then I do my own practice and record myself, and then listen back to spot the differences between my recordings and the original one. And I practiced really hard because I knew that it would end up being played in front of my classmates. Yeah, I was a bit competitive kid back then. Anyway, so I was working on getting mine as close to the original as possible. I'm not saying it's necessary to record yourself to improve your accent. The idea here is that practice speaking out loud, hear yourself, and compare with accents that you are aiming for, and repeat this whole process until your accent is close enough to theirs. Practice makes progress, for sure. Today, we talked about accents. Again, please don't get stressed about needing a perfect accent because it's quite simply there is no perfect accent. Our goal is to communicate with people by using languages as a tool. It just can be a bit more enjoyable if you like practicing a specific accent based on your own preference. It's quite satisfying sometimes when you feel like, oh, I've just nailed a particular sound. Why not having fun? Thanks for watching this video, and I really hope that it was somewhat helpful for your language learning journey. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye!